Hi cuties! So I know a lot of you probably were expecting a Japanese history vlog, but it has to be put on hold just for a second because I need to talk about something, and if I don't talk about it, my brain's gonna explode because the thoughts will not leave my brain right now, and I just feel like I really need to say these words and get it off my chest, and I'll feel better. And then we can get back to history vlogs and stuff like that. I want to talk to you guys about how living abroad will change your life for better and worse. We're gonna start with the negative side of this because I'd like to end on a positive note, but the negatives are definitely the reason why I'm making this video, because they won't leave my brain alone, so it's super awesome. Okay, let's go. Living abroad is not an easy decision to make, and once you've done it, it starts to really become obvious how much it is changing you and how much it changes the relationships you have with other people. The first time I lived in Japan, I was studying abroad in Akita. Now this time really kickstarted my love of living in Japan, and I had a fantastic experience. The issues I had with living abroad came after I came back to America to finish my degree. I found that I had lost a lot of my friends. And it's not something that I did personally to those friends, it's just that I have a new experience now. I've been gone for a year, I've missed a lot of things, and everyone has been moving on, continuing their degrees, getting new jobs, and just moving on with their lives, and then I got left out of the transition period, so I'm not a part of it anymore. And that sucks. For people who have lived abroad, when you associate with someone who has not lived abroad, there are oddly some distinct characteristics that kind of pop out at you that show you they have not lived abroad. Not that it's bad if you have not lived abroad. All I'm saying is that there are certain characteristics and traits that become rather obvious to people when you've lived abroad or not. Did that make sense? Aside from people telling you that they have lived abroad, obviously that's a huge characteristic of people who've lived abroad. We love telling stories about it, and sometimes we come off as really arrogant and conceited, and that is a fault of us. I am not exempt from doing that. I try my best not to sound arrogant and rude about it, but I do like to share my experience with people. Obviously, I have an entire YouTube channel about it. However, coming from that side of the fence here, there's a problem with connecting with people who are on the other side of it, who haven't lived abroad. And I'm not saying for new acquaintances, I'm saying now there's this weird fence between you and the people you used to hang out with a whole lot. I have lived in Japan 3 times now, and every time I have come back, I have lost friends. Inevitably, this is going to happen because of time differences. People are doing different things, just like I said before in the college scenario that I was in. People are moving on with their lives, they're getting married, they're having children, they're doing stuff, they've moved away, or you've just drifted because of life. And it's sad to come back and find out that the world has changed here, when in your mind it's kind of stayed in this little bubble of what you remember, and then you're gone for a year or two and you come back and that bubble has popped and everything's different and there's new bubbles, and it's just a world full of new bubbles. I don't know why I got obsessed with bubbles, but that's what it feels like. I thought of a better analogy. You know in those TV shows where a person's in prison, and I mean, I guess it's not a TV show, but I'm gonna say from a TV show, it's from real life too. When the prisoner comes through and they have a guest waiting for them, the visitor's waiting to talk to them through that glass, and they have to pick up the phones and talk to each other. That's what it's like. For the people who lived abroad, you're gonna be the inmates. We're in prison, okay? And for everybody else, you're gonna be the visitors. For the inmates, you don't always get to talk to the people that you want to. It's a limited time, and they show up whenever they feel like it. And when you do finally get to be on that little phone with them, it's just different. It's not the same as talking to them right face to face. Even though you are face to face, there's still that glass there that provides a barrier that prevents you from emoting what you want to say and prevents them from empathizing with you. Now, this is not saying that every friendship you have is going to be destroyed by you living abroad. Friendships can make it through, obviously. I still have quite a few of my friends, but I've lost a lot of them as well. Is it still worth going abroad? Hell yes! But we're not quite at the positives yet. There's another group of people that you're gonna have to be prepared to deal with when you come back from living abroad. We're gonna talk about the random people you're gonna meet, and this is specifically America because I haven't seen too much of this otherwise, because I'm American and I live in America now, and I come up against this almost every day, and it's frustrating. So here's a situation that recently happened to me at work. So there was this guy in my line, and we were chatting up because customer service and all that jazz, and he actually mentions that he visited Japan and he has a Japanese dog, which kind of was what spurred the whole thing. He has a Shiba Inu, and we were just talking about it, and I talked about my experience a little bit, and it was a nice fun time. Great guy, good dog, you know. However, the next lady in line who had been eavesdropping on the conversation, as one does when you're standing in a line, she decides she wants to ask me about the situation of Fukushima. I hate this question because right from the get-go, you can tell that she is not genuinely concerned and interested about Fukushima. No, she has something she wants to say about it, and she's just wanting me to continue that opportunity for her. And this is the thing that just kills me about coming back and living here and dealing with ignorant a-holes who are so close-minded and rude and disrespectful and frankly racist. I try to just tell the lady that, you know, they're doing everything they can to clean up the problem. I don't know all the details. I'm not there anymore. I've never been directly in that area, but obviously they're trying really hard to clean it up. They're trying to find solutions for the problem that occurred. And this lady just looks at me and says, sure, that's what they want you to think. And I just had a moment where my brain stopped computing, and then she had the nerve to say, well, serves them right for Pearl Harbor. People died. Thousands upon thousands of people died that day. And you have the nerve to say that for a war that's been over for decades. Are you kidding me? Not to mention Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like, let's just leave that war back in the 1940s with your mindset now, shall we? Granted, I didn't say that to her because customer service and all that jazz, but I'm so glad that she walked out so fast because I was gonna lose it. And it just hurts me so much that that is not the first time that's happened to me, and it's definitely not going to be the last. Now, I don't want to get off track with Fukushima. I just wanted to give you a brief example of what you may experience, especially for people who have lived abroad in Japan and come back to America. So we're moving past that now, ignoring that lady, and back on track. What I'm trying to get to is that living abroad changes you, and it changes the way you experience your relationships with other people. This doesn't go only for Japan. This is for anyone who has lived in any country and you've come home. You're gonna experience people who are closed-minded jerkwads. You're just gonna experience that in any country. It'll happen, trust me. However, you do have to kind of appreciate that type of person as well. Why? Because now they've confirmed to you that you are a person who has been changed for the better. And they will continue to live their sad lives alone with their stupid and wrong opinions. And that takes us to the positives of living abroad. Living in another country that is different from your own culture and possibly language is one of the most rewarding experiences you'll ever get. It teaches you so many new things and changes you to your core. For me personally, I really learned how to be dependent on myself. I learned to not be afraid to try new things. I learned to be open-minded to whatever I'm seeing in front of me and not to judge quickly. And then I learned how far kindness can go. Living abroad changes you forever, and there are of course upsides and downsides. Despite all the sadness I've experienced in losing friendships and dealing with Nimrods on a daily basis, I would not trade my experience abroad for anything. I'm just so glad and thankful for those experiences, and I'm really proud of the person that I've become because of the changes living abroad put me through. Am I a perfect person? Well, hell no, I am not. I still have a lot to learn, but living abroad has given me a mindset that is open to learning new experiences and open to changing my mind about things that maybe I'm wrong about now and I just don't know it. But I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with someone telling me that because now I can accept that I'm wrong and I can learn new information and feel great about it. And I really have to thank that to living abroad. I was not that type of person prior to doing that. I was very, very stubborn. I'm still a little stubborn, but that is a huge part of the core part of me that's changed thanks to that experience. So thank you guys for letting me get this off of my chest. It's just something that has been bothering me for a while and I've wanted to talk about it, but life has gotten in the way. I promise you a new history vlog will be coming soon. This is the actual promise now. I mean it this time. I mean it. And I hope you guys all enjoyed the Japanese vacation game that I did last time. I worked really hard on it, so I'm glad to see that you enjoyed it. And if you haven't taken it, you can click on it on the end screen and go play a little lighthearted game rather than deal with all the heaviness of this vlog that I just did. And of course, if you have any further questions or comments, you can leave them down below or on Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter, and I will see you next time, cuties. Bye! Cuties, oh, my voice is crap. It is and every time I'm this guy, and he had actually been look at all this garbage that I keep generating. I stand right all day and watch it biodegrading, but there's a hidden health codes that I'm violating. Even my dog passed out and needed resuscitating. You wouldn't believe it. Take a whiff of that aroma, sure to put you in a coma. It's so filthy, can't find my tail in the clippers. It's so bad the roach is wearing slippers. Warm up, sweaty up, final this point. Stand up by themselves this point. It's so filthy, now baby, I can't lie. I wipe my sleep before I go outside. I wonder what crawled in here and died. You don't walk around Bifford, I'd be terrified. But it gives me stuff to talk about with my friends like, hey, I think them rats getting big.